It's that quiet hour, you know? The day's finally over, and the noise fades,
Hmm.
and that's when that internal voice you've been pushing away all day starts to get a little louder.
Right.
Why do I feel like I'm just running in place? Why am I so busy? But, still feel so unfulfilled.
And if you've ever looked around and felt like life is moving forward for everyone else,
Yeah.
but you're stuck, that feeling, that friction, that's where this all begins.
And that friction leads right to the next morning's alarm.
Oh yeah. You hit snooze, you wake up tired, and it's not always because you didn't sleep enough.
Mm.
It's because something inside you,
Hmm.
your ambition, your potential,
Mhm.
and just hasn't woken up yet.
So we're surviving, but we're not evolving.
Exactly. That's the core conflict.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going beyond just, wake up early. We want to get into the actual psychological framework that makes it work. This isn't about a time on the clock.
Not at all. It's about a new identity.
We've looked at some powerful ideas that unpack a really surprising truth. The thing holding you back. It's not your talent, it's not your intelligence, it's not even a lack of opportunity.
It's your lack of control, sovereignty, really, over your mornings. That one single detail is silently steering the entire course of your life.
So we're going to unpack the system that can rewire how you think, how you act, and how you perform, moving you from, I guess, a life of constant reaction.
To one of intentional creation.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the trap, because you have to understand the problem before you can, dismantle it.
Right. And the trap really begins with this shared delusion we all seem to have.
We all say it, I don't have time.
Constantly.
But that's not really the truth, is it? It's a distortion.
It's a convenient one. What you really mean is, I don't control my time. We've just outsourced our focus to whatever's shiniest.
And if you actually look at the day killers, it becomes so obvious where that control goes.
Painfully obvious. The infinite scroll on social media, the notifications, the endless stream of emails that aren't important, we mistake all that context switching for being productive.
Let's make this concrete. Let's talk about someone. Let's call him Ryan. Ryan's 32, has a stable corporate job, makes good money, but he is always exhausted.
Always running on empty.
His routine is, well, it's chaos. He wakes up late, rushes, and then his entire workday is just reacting.
Putting out fires, answering urgent texts.
He's not creating anything, he's just responding.
And that becomes a loop, a
Hmm.
permanent self-fulfilling loop. Ryan's nights just kind of disappear into screens, the weeks blend together. And here's the critical part. Nothing about his actual performance or his skills really changes year after year.
So why is that pattern so sticky? Why does someone like Ryan, who's clearly competent, just default to this state of chaos?
This is what some would define as operating from a victim mentality.
Okay, we need to be careful with that term.
We do. It needs nuance. It's not that life is unfair to him. It's that the responsibility for his own focus is being avoided. He's letting whatever or whoever screams the loudest dictate where his energy goes.
So until he decides to take that responsibility back, to lead his day,
Yeah.
his potential just stays buried under everyone else's priorities.
That's the equation. It's completely unsustainable. You have to choose to lead your day, or your day will absolutely lead you somewhere you don't want to go.
But this is the part most people miss. Deciding to wake up early. It's not just a mindset thing. The early morning gives you this powerful, almost unfair psychological and biological advantage that flips the entire script.
It really does. And this is where we need to get past the motivational posters and into the actual science.
Right.
There's a specific biological reason why top performers are so fierce about protecting that time between, say, 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. It's when the identity shift starts.
Yeah.
Before the world starts making demands on you.
So what's actually happening in our brains then? Is it just that it's quiet?
The silence is a huge part of it, but the biology is the real engine. Early in the morning, your brain chemistry is literally optimized for deep, focused work. Your cortisol, the main stress hormone, is still low,
Okay.
and that allows your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles decision-making and focus, to just operate with maximum clarity.
So you're not fighting that biological wave of stress and distraction that hits you an hour or two later?
You're not fighting it at all. Plus, your brain is often in what's called an alpha wave state, which is just perfect for creative thinking and deep concentration. When you rush out of bed late, you waste that entire peak chemical advantage on...
Scrambling to find your keys or firing off a panicked reply to an email.
Yes, you sacrifice your absolute best mental hours on your least important tasks. When you wake up with intention, you give yourself this undeniable psychological head start.
You're training yourself to operate from clarity, not panic.
And that control becomes the foundation for absolutely everything else.
Okay, so let's get to the blueprint. Here's where it gets really interesting. If you've got that golden hour, that quiet time, what should you actually do with it? There's a really precise, systematic framework for this. The 20-20-20 formula.
Yeah, this formula is what turns the idea of waking up early into a real performance-enhancing engine. It's 1 hour, 3 parts, all driving towards one thing: self-mastery.
Let's break it down. The first 20 minutes, a MOVE VE, physical activation. Now, I think when people hear this, they imagine, some brutal high-intensity workout.
And that completely misses the psychological point.
Right.
It's not about intensity, it's about activation. Light exercise.
Yeah.
A walk, some stretching, jumping jacks, just enough to get your heart rate up and wake up your body.
Yeah.
Physiologically, you're releasing endorphins. They kill stress, they boost your mood.
Psychologically, you're sending a command to yourself right at the start of the day.
A definitive command. I am in control today. You establish that sovereignty over your physical self, and that feeling of being dragged into the day is just gone.
Imagine Ryan doing this. Instead of feeling defeated from the moment he gets out of bed, he takes control with a 20-minute walk. His whole mood, his confidence, it shifts instantly. Okay, so then we move into the second 20 minutes. Reflate Siti, mental clarity. This is for deep internal work. Silence, journaling, planning.
This is the anti-chaos block. The whole point is to review your real priorities, your big goals, instead of letting the day's noise decide them for you. Most people don't think clearly, they just respond. This is where you build clarity.
So if Ryan started his day here, he wouldn't be jumping on those 10 urgent but low-value emails first.
No, he'd be identifying his single most important task for the day. You're training your brain to lead with focus, not just react to whatever pops up. You define what success looks like for the day before anyone else gets a chance to.
And that brings us to the final block. GROW, skill and knowledge. The last 20 minutes are all about concentrated learning. Reading something hard, developing a skill.
And this is where the magic of compounding really kicks in. 20 minutes a day learning to code or reading a dense book. It might feel like nothing in the moment, but that consistency adds up. It's over 120 hours a year of dedicated growth.
That's how people quietly separate themselves from the pack. While everyone else is just trying to catch up, those 120 hours build an intellectual advantage that becomes, well, insurmountable over time. It's deliberate practice.
Exactly. The growth curve just gets steeper and steeper. It creates these asymmetrical returns.
So if consistency is the driver here, what does this all mean for long-term success? It means we have to move away from relying on motivation.
Oh, absolutely. Motivation it's fleeting. It's a firework. High performers don't rely on it. They rely on systems, frameworks, processes. They automate their discipline so they don't have to feel like it every single morning.
There are 4 core focuses that seem to define this kind of elite performance. What are they?
Okay, so first is capitalization IQ. This means spending your time on your natural strengths, the 20% of your activities that get you 80% of your results. You stop trying to fix your weaknesses and you just pour gasoline on your strengths.
That's a huge mental shift. So if our guy Ryan is great at strategy, he shouldn't be spending his 5 a.m. hour trying to get better at Excel. He should be mapping out the quarter.
Precisely. The second focus is freedom from distraction. This is about being almost militant and protecting your attention. Time is useless if your attention is shattered into a million pieces.
And last 2.
Third is personal mastery. This is your internal world emotional control, building character resilience. How you perform under pressure is all about how you manage that internal monologue. And finally, day stacking. Excellence isn't one big, dramatic moment. It's just a series of small, consistent wins stacked on top of each other day after day. That's what builds momentum.
Okay, to make these systems actually stick, there are 2 really practical rules to help get through that initial pain of a new habit. The first one is, it's a productivity weapon, the 9-0-9-0-1 rule.
This rule is designed to destroy the kind of chaos that Ryan lives in. For 90 days, you spend the first 90 minutes of your workday on one single priority. 1, no multitasking, no distractions, phone is off, no checking anything. You apply that kind of focus relentlessly to your most important goal. It changes careers. It forces creation instead of reaction.
And the second rule, the 60-10 method, tackles the other big fear, burnout.
Right. Work intensely for 60 minutes, then take an intentional 10-minute recovery break. A walk, stretching, deep breathing. The key insight here is so important. Discipline doesn't exhaust you.
Disorder does.
Disorder and constantly switching your focus. That's what drains your energy. When you manage your energy in these cycles with dedicated recovery, you can maintain peak performance all day.
Okay, we have to address the biggest pushback, the question everyone asks about this. If I'm waking up at 5 a.m., am I just going to be a sleep-deprived zombie?
And that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the whole concept.
It's not about sleeping less.
It's about being forced to prioritize sleeping better, more intentionally.
Because if you're going to get up and use that hour, you have to protect your evenings. You have to optimize your sleep.
Absolutely. Recovery isn't a weakness. It's a strategic part of performance. Deep sleep is when you consolidate memories, improve your decision-making, stabilize your emotions, all the things you need to capitalize on that morning advantage.
Elite performers protect their sleep like they protect their goals.
You have to. Late nights, they just steal tomorrow's clarity. It's a simple trade-off. It creates this positive feedback loop. Waking up early forces you to go to bed earlier, which gives you better mental capacity, which you then use in that focused 20-20-20 hour.
Which brings us to the real payoff here. This isn't just about a routine, is it? It's an identity shift.
That's it. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about removing all the junk that's stopping you from being the most effective version of yourself, the person who's actually in control of their focus and their time.
And when you consistently own your mornings, the results, they're so tangible. Your confidence grows because you're proving to yourself every day that you can do hard things.
Discipline stops being a chore, and it just becomes who you are. Your life stops feeling so random.
And this leads to what's called the attraction principle. You stop chasing success, you stop hustling and struggling for it.
Instead, you start to attract results into your life because you're just operating at a higher, more focused, more capable level.
So we have the system, we have the psychology, but I have to ask about chronotypes. Are we saying that a true night owl is just locked out of these benefits, or can they just shift the time block?
That's a great point, and it gets oversimplified a lot. The magic isn't in the number 5.00. The magic is in the undisturbed block of quiet time.
Before the world wakes up.
Right. And while true, biological chronotypes do exist, the argument is that most self-proclaimed night owls are actually just late-nighters with poor evening habits.
Meaning they've just let screens and other low-value stuff push their bedtime later and later.
Exactly. So, yes, you can adjust the framework a bit, but the principle is the same. Find the quietest, most distraction-free part of your day and dedicate it to creation before you fall into reaction. For most of us, that's the early morning.
So that brings us to the final bottom line insight for you, the learner. What's the biggest hurdle to actually doing this?
Look, the hardest part of this whole thing, it is not setting an alarm for 5 a.m. Anyone can do that. The hardest part is making the deep internal decision that your life deserves structure.
Wow. That's a decision about self-worth, really.
It is. Your future isn't built in chaos. It's built in these quiet, disciplined mornings, piece by piece, 20 minutes at a time. The real challenge isn't if you can do it. The challenge is whether you're ready to decide to prioritize that structure over comfort and finally stop letting the world decide what you're capable of.
The day you control your morning is the day your life begins to change. Those quiet choices you make before the sun comes up, they're the loudest statement you can possibly make about who you really intend to be. Go build that life.